Welcome to the Prophecy Club. I've got Terry Sacka on the phone today. He is an AAMS. He has 4 licenses as a financial advisor. He offers 13 different precious metals. He's been in the precious metals business for 10 years. And since things are blowing up with the stock market right now, I've asked him to come on. So, Terry Sacka, CornerStoneAssetMetals.com. Welcome to the Prophecy Club.
Hi, Stan. Wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Terry Sacka, AAMS. Let's get that correct. Okay, so first question is, do you know enough about the stock market? And if so, please explain to the people that might not know, what is GameStop and what just happened?
Yeah, so I actually started out in the stock market. So I have multiple financial licenses, accredited asset management specialist. So I understand what's going on in that world, but it has been about 10 years since we've been really just core, solid, tangible assets, specifically going into precious metal. What's unique about what happened in GameStop and what's really catching the headlines, beyond the fact that it bankrupted a handful of hedge funds to the tune of billions and billions and billions of dollars, which is to the core of why it's driving such a media narrative. What's really unique about what happened, we have what I call a we the people almost financial revolution taking place, almost basically like an awakening. And there are literally millions and millions of Americans, and very intelligent ones, a lot of them even in their young 30s, that work for the banking community and they work in the finance. But they see the rigging. They see what the corruption was in the system. So they used their knowledge and strategic thinking to identify where a lot of this rigging was taking place. And I don't really know a whole lot about the groups. I know the Reddit group. I know there's Wall Street Bets. They all seem extremely intelligent and very, very much full of attitude, which I just find, refreshing. What they've done is identified areas of the market that were overly rigged, including stocks like GameStop. GameStop was a $2.30 type stock. It really wasn't doing very well. These groups of people, by the tune of millions, mind you, identified it as the most shorted stock in the market. Now, short means these banks and hedge funds or traders, they go into the brokerage firm and they borrow a share that somebody owns and then they sell it short, meaning they want the price to go down. And they sit on it. Well, GameStop was 140% short, which is overwhelmingly short. And so they come in, identified that, came in, and the army of these people started buying the stock. Now, these hedge funds wanted the stock to stay low, but the people coming in to buy it said, no, it's a good value. We want it to go up. It went from $2.50 to $450. It bankrupted hedge funds by the tune of billions and tens of billions and caused a firestorm. Now, all they did, the people, was identify an opportunity, and they worked together. And by being together, they were able to accumulate a tremendous amount of return because they worked collectively. And these are really smart groups of people, and they're just putting out the information. And so others can then jump in if they chose to. But that's what started all this. And now it's kind of morphing over into, the silver market now.
Yeah, what I understand is a lot of these people jumped on these chat rooms and they said, hey, they're trying to kill GameStop. Everybody started buying GameStop. So they did. And so now the $5 or $10 stock that these hedge funds had put a lot of money into, now all of a sudden it hit $450. And as the hedge funds, as it started rising, they couldn't get out of it. So they lost $1 billion. Here's my question. So could this happen to other stocks? Because I'm getting emails that are saying that the next target is silver. Your comment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to give you a disclaimer.
There's about 35 stocks.
Hang on. I have to give a disclaimer. We're not selling silver. We're not trying to talk you into buying anything here. This is a prophecy program. We are just discussing Bible prophecy and how this relates to Bible prophecy. Shane Warren was told by the audible voice of God that silver will skyrocket far more than gold. So that's how it ties to Bible prophecy. So,
Actually, Stan, in that vision, what he was saying is it would be raining like dollar bills because they would be worthless, and then and then the silver was what he was basically told and shown. I know Sid Roth and many others have had the same type of audible about silver, which is I find very fascinating, and I understand why because I happen to be connected into that side of the world, so I do know why. And I think it's unique because I see this as a power to the people. It also goes into Job 27. So if many want to understand, where the wealth transfer can come from, it's those out of the transfer from the wicked to the innocent. It really is the wicked are piling up and hoarding fiat currencies when real money used to be silver. God gave us silver as our money, and it always was. And Haggai 2:8, the silver is mine. But the silver was always money. Now that they've gotten out of it, even our country, Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution said that grains of silver was our money by definition, always was the US dollar right up until the late 60s, 71, and then it divorced. So silver is really unique because it is not only very biblical, because as it says, an honest scale is a delight, dishonest weight and measures is an abomination, because silver is 31.1 grams and it's honest. It always was. It was our gift for money. But that said, what they've identified, a lot of these traders or these groups of people, and I call it a we the people moment. They've identified not only all these stocks that were short and they're going after them, they've now started talking about silver. And they are correct. The silver market is one of the most manipulated markets because it was used for psychological reasons to support the view that the dollar was strong. And if silver were to go to true value marked to inflation, it would be about $1,000 an ounce. So they've always manipulated and kept it down, suppressed the price by this kind of rigging they do in the marketplace. Well, these groups and individuals started identifying that silver actually was the largest shorted position in the market system. It is the biggest. And if the banks would just get out of the short position and close the position, silver probably would be $500 to $1,000 an ounce. And it's a very unique time because we the people are identifying it. And they're working together and realizing, it's not about paper. It's not about this fake market system or rigging of a market system. This is about real asset value, buying the real physical, and in buying the real silver physical, it puts pressure on the banks to close out that position, which then therefore the prices will run unbelievably.
okay, now let me comment on that. My understanding is that like $1 million in gold can be about the size of a woman's purse. But $1 million in silver takes a pickup truck to move, the back of a pickup truck. So that's one of the reasons a lot of the people don't have the physical. They just do the paper thing. But now a lot of people are actually getting the physical silver in hand, and that is also causing the price to rise, correct?
Oh, it actually completely depleted the entire supply system over the weekend. When this chatter started, which I always said I actually have a psychological cycle of investing. And once it starts to hit the media, it'll go into a manic state. And you're going to have some serious issues here on the banks. They're going to have to make a decision. But the real physical, just because the people started to wake up and decide, exactly, Stan, it's time to get away from paper and actually hold the real asset. Now, it can be cumbersome. You can have it at home in a gun safe. You can store it in a private depository near your home. They also work at storing private depositories. Are extremely safe as well. I know, we deal with that, but it can be. Just depends on what you're looking to do. But at least the way we're looking at it, it's a lot better to have silver in a vault than currency in a bank. I'd say that.
Yes, absolutely. Before you get too far from that, let me make the point. I understand that you can also store this for them, and also, do you have silver, plenty of silver to still sell? Because most places are out of silver.
Oh, they are. But what's happening is there is a silver supply. There is, commercial bar silver available grain that we deal with, on the lowest end of the refining side. What really disappeared once this chatter started, what disappeared was all the finished product. So all your American Eagles, all of your product being produced just evaporated. They got bought up within 4 days, which was astounding. But what they're not telling you is how much purchase and buying power is being done underneath in the institutional side. So yes, we still have the availability to get, the commercial level, commercial bars, and then the grains out of the refinery. What we have to do then is put it through the process of melting down, putting it into the tubes, and then minting it into the product. So we do have a delay on that. But the good news is once you buy your silver, you lock in your price. We own the silver. It's just now put through the process of melting down and minting into the product and then shipped to you wherever
Okay,
that
okay.
is.
Now
And yes, we
this
do
is a
private
stand
vault
question.
storage as well with
I
drinks and
emailed you this last night. I don't think I got an answer. So, A, can I get some more silver, and can I lock in the price? And the third question is, even though there's a little bit of a delay on getting it through you, what's the delay? So, A, do you have it? Can you lock in the price? And how long it be before I can get some more?
Yes, actually, we could. Last night, we couldn't do anything because nobody knew anything. There literally was a frozen system. Nobody wanted to even move a product until we woke up this morning because of the hype. Now, I do believe the banks are strong. I believe there's going to be a battle in this. I don't think it happens in one day. I think this is a course of a few months, but I think the eyes are open. So that's why it's so important to get that stuff now. But yes, it is available. And yes, you can lock in. Once we have actual confirmed funds, cleared funds, whether it be by wire or a check clears, once the fund is confirmed, and absolutely we can lock it in right away. We then own the material, and it's just a matter of producing it, which is, anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks until delivery. But at least we own it, and that's the most important
Okay.
part.
Now here's another thing that surprised me, and I looked this up. It was actually December the 14th when I called. And I said that I felt like the Lord spoke to my heart and said that the stock market is about to crash. And what He spoke to my heart is that anything you don't want to lose, put it in silver. Now, again, I'm not suggesting anybody has to buy anything, but of course, if you do, and you want to help Prophecy Club, go to cornerstoneassetmetals.com. I stumbled, so let me say it again. Cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Mention Prophecy Club. It helps us. But anyway, so I called you, and what I didn't know is you took a check on the phone. It cleared my bank the very next day. And
Yeah.
you can still do that, correct?
We can, and it's weird because it's bank to bank. So some banks clear sooner than others, and sometimes because it clears the account doesn't mean it hits our account. And so we do have a few day delay typically on that, just to confirm that something was cleared and actually what they call in the banking world captured. But yes, we can absolutely do that, and we expedite it as quick as possible. It's one method anyway. If you can't get to a bank to do a wire, which a wire would be instantaneous.
Well, I think back then I got it at somewhere in the $23, $25 ballpark. I'm just looking up to see. Have you checked what the price is this morning? I heard it was like over 30.
Yeah, it was over 30. And what's happened though, the premiums are starting to rise too because the product is gone, the finished product's gone, and the costs of minting and production and everything else included have gone up. And so you're seeing, even the government silver eagles right now selling at like $42. So it's becoming very expensive. But here's the thing, $42, even $50 will be very inexpensive when it's 500. So it's just a matter of owning the asset itself for the future that's coming in front of us, which I know you're talking much about of what's coming. And it's not just a stock market crash. I mean, we haven't even seen the stock market crash yet and how it's going to impact silver. We haven't even seen the short covering happen. And once all of those things start to play out in the dynamics, I mean, they have committed to print trillions and trillions to bail out the continued bailout of the financials. They're talking about a massive multi-trillion stimulus to the people and to bail out these cities that shut down their people. And so they're looking to spend a lot of money on new technologies and infrastructure. And that just bodes more why you want to have a tangible asset to protect, because the paper dollar is going to lose so much value, which I say by design, which we can talk at another time. It's going to lose so much value that you want to have an asset that gains value, and nothing better than something you can control yourself.
Well, now let me give you another disclaimer. We are, again, not suggesting that you buy anything, and we're not suggesting that the price is going to go up. We're not guaranteeing anything. I am only saying I believe that the Lord spoke to my heart, and said anything you don't want to lose, put it in silver. And now all of a sudden we can see how the stock market could well. I'll ask the expert here. Could this crash the stock market or send a process specifically of silver going through the roof?
Absolutely, no doubt. And I will go in and I think the disclaimer is wonderful. It is. And I even used to tell people, listen, if you don't want to go through Cornerstone, just go somewhere. I have a mission with Cornerstone. God directly told me to get my people ready. And this was years ago. And it goes with that dream I told you about when the flames came up. And it was my mission was strictly just to get the message out. Obviously, I was placed and blessed and placed in areas and relationships so we can provide the service to the kingdom. But it was really about getting the message out because if my guess is God obviously knew what was coming. And if the kingdom was properly positioned with their assets and we gained in that wealth transfer, like the GameStop, that was a wealth transfer. Now, that was just on paper. But when silver goes through the same mechanism, it's not because I'm saying silver will, then therefore. It's because the currencies will be collapsing. The market system, money will shift into the commodity sector, and silver, because it's the most shorted, will then become extremely attractive, especially those to own the physical. And so my mission clearly was just get the message out because I believe that not only does the kingdom benefit, individually we will benefit, but think of then the tithing and the support we can do for ministries with the extra profit. And that's what I really believe the transfer was about, to give us resources in the kingdom. And I just happen to stay really close. Not only what God told me to do as a mission, but I do know silver specifically, it's because he gave us dominion over things of the earth. Silver is the main product of the earth. It's the main product of all of our technology. It is our constitutional money, and it's our biblical source. I always call it God's money. So I'm just saying it has that tremendous value added to it, is why it's one of the sources of tangible assets to
Okay,
own.
now here's another question. Do I remember you telling me that I don't think it was that you owned a silver mine, but you had some special connections and that your process to silver, I guess the correct way to say were very competitive rather than just lower than everybody. But tell me that again. You have a special
Yeah, no,
connection.
right. I'm definitely not, I don't own mines or any of that stuff. No. What I've done is through my career, I have been consulting with and been involved with certain mining operations. I've also been just more or less in an oversight or, as a consulting side of it. But what it's done is my relationships allowed me where I'm involved in recycling as well as being right there in the refining mechanism so we can take material in and we can get material at the basic level, which we call silver grain. And it's from that grain then we then produce the rods and then we can make our product. So I'm more involved just really in the bottom end of the supply chain. Now, it doesn't really give us an overall price advantage. We definitely are better than most. Even right now, we're lower than the maple leaf, which is amazing because they're usually really inexpensive. But it is what it is. We don't really change our prices except when they adjust to us. There's prices in everything from refining to shipping to securing insurance to minting, you name it. And so all those costs get built into it.
So then, did I hear you say that your prices are not going to be going up as quick as some of the other places?
Well, right now they're definitely not. I know Eagles are selling at around 42. We're not even close to that, and we're lower than Maple Leafs today. But one thing about price, Dan, is amazing is it can change literally on a dime. It just depends on supply and demand. And when we make these purchases, this is literally what I call this industry. It is what it is when it is. There is really it literally that moment things can change. That's how fluid this system is. But yes, we do try to keep things, really mainline. We have a certain, cost structure to it, and we don't really take advantage of increasing costs as some others can do during these cycles, only because our mission clearly is to get the product out. So it does keep us pretty competitive.
Okay, so everybody understands what happened with GameStop. Why all of a sudden these people that were on their chat boards, whatnot, and they all said, "Hey, buy GameStop to keep them from killing the company." But now, why is this happening to silver?
And I like the way you just said that because they're so important. There's a lot of psych warfare going on in the media saying that these people doing this were bad, and that's just false. These hedge funds were trying to destroy a company. And then we, the people, whoever these people are, decided no, that company has value. We want it to have value. And they go in and they supported the company. So the really big thing to look at here is people are trying to support business when the establishment is trying to destroy business, not even just through lockdowns and what they did, but through the investments. So I find it more morally high, definitely a moral high ground for the people to support a company than some finance industry trying to destroy one. Now, when it comes to silver, it's people are waking up that silver is the truest form constitutionally, biblically source of money. It is a finite resource. It has tremendous value, and more importantly, it is way undervalued because of the manipulation to keep it down. And they're saying, hey, I'm just going to buy and own this stuff because eventually this thing's all going to break down, which I'm definitely on board that this reset will be here by 2023 and change. But in that respect, they know that this is real value. And if you study history, like with the Romans and others, those that had the real money, which was the gold and silver, when the Roman Empire collapsed, it was the Grecian law, they actually had wealth to move into the next phase. But those that were in the fiat system, which is these paper dollars or the bonds or stocks, they lost a lot of value and didn't have the same return because it was a cycle, it was a time and season. And many people are waking up right now and realizing this is a time and season. We have a big political wind shift globally, and it's not looking healthy. They are going into this world order scenario if they can pull it off. They want central bank digital currencies. And so people are seeing that the real value will be in what we were given as real money, which was silver.
Okay, so if someone wants to get some, and by the way, you also sell gold, palladium, rhodium, but if they want to get some of these precious metals, do they just go to cornerstoneassetmetals.com and mention Prophecy Club? What do they do?
Yeah, they can go to cornerstoneassetmetals.com, and Prophecy Club's right there as a mechanism how you heard about us. We would definitely want to keep loving on the ministry. I know you've been, teaching some very good things that are preparing people for the future, and I think that's where we have such a good synergy. They could also, go to the website cornerstoneassetmetals.com. There's our phone number there. They can always call when they register with their name and phone number. Then we can put them in a queue and give them a call right away, and then we'll do everything we can to service their needs because we're seeing a big push right now where a lot of folks are realizing, okay, we're near the end of a cycle in the stock market and we're cycling back through because of all this money printing towards commodity. So they're transferring a lot of IRAs and 401k portions into the physical metal, which we do and we handle with for you, and it's very seamless. So that's something we're seeing as well, and that's why you want to talk to a representative because they can guide you through the process.
Now, yes, great with the 401k and all that sort of stuff, but now if they do want to do it quickly, are you still taking check by the phone and then a couple of weeks later the silver arrives in that ballpark? Is that correct?
We're definitely taking a check by the phone, but we do have to wait for the funds to clear before we can lock in the price. That's the only thing that has changed because it's too fluid right now. So we just have to make sure the funds are there. If we can't be buying metal off a check that didn't clear. But once the funds actually clear, then we lock in the order right away. That's why a lot of people will do wires because they're instantly able to lock in a price. And I wouldn't be too, I'm not one to be too rushy or too panicky, or I know urgency is important, but I'll say this is a process. And today was a big hype, and I think it'll settle pretty neutral. But the fact is, it's open and it's ready. And no matter what the price is right now, what it'll be a week or two from now, even 3 weeks, it's not going to matter to the bigger picture. Owning the asset is vital to what's coming and preparation of what's coming just in the spiritual in our world. But it's also going to be so much beyond where it's at right now that you'll be fine no matter what price you purchase at. At least you own it.
If you would like to get some kind of precious metal, he can help you with any flavor that you want: gold, palladium, rhodium, or silver. But since Shane Warren, and this was a vision back in like 2011, okay? And he came to us in 2012, made the DVD, and he specifically said he heard the audible voice of God say silver will skyrocket far more than gold. And you've heard me talk about that for years. Well, now it may be the last opportunity to get on that elevator before it starts rising too quickly. CornerStoneAssetMetals.com. Just mention Prophecy Club when you call. That helps us. CornerStoneAssetMetals.com. And yes, Terry, I need to get some more myself.
Well, I'd be more than happy to bless you anytime, Stan. One thing I want to, if I could mention real quick, is one of the bigger reasons too, not just because there seems to be an army building behind, the understanding, awakening to that this is a good idea. But the real issue that's underlying all of this is there's a chart out that'll show you that the Fed balance sheet, the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve, has hit almost 50% of the GDP, what we produce as a nation. That is almost twice, 3 times as large as World War II, World War I, Great Depression, meaning they're in serious trouble printing money, diluting the value of the paper dollars you're holding in your wallet. And that is a very stark image because we can't go down. They can't reduce that debt level like a lot of Republicans like to say, we got to reduce the budget. No way. That day is over. They're going to have to continue to spend trillions and print trillions over the next 2 years until this reset's ushered in. And that's the value that people are hanging on to, because as they do that, paper currency and a lot of assets in paper are going to lose buying power, whereas silver is going to maintain. And the best example, silver and a paper dollar used to buy 3 gallons of gas. They were equal. And now I sell my silver, I can buy literally 12 gallons of gas, 14 gallons of gas. And with my paper dollar, I can't even buy a half a gallon. And that's value over time. And that's what I think people are gravitating to right now.
Amen. Well, Terry Sacka of CornerStoneAssetMetals.com, brother, friend, thank you so much for coming on and helping us understand this.
God bless you, Stan, and keep getting that word out for preparation, because if we stay together and we come together as a kingdom, our preparation will make us very powerful, not just in the spirit, but also in the flesh, where we can do our witnessing and get people ready.
Amen. I also just pulled this off of the internet this morning, quoted from Ben Fulford. He says, finally, we note with great interest the rebellion against the banksters in the U.S. that started with an attack on short sellers in the stock market and is now focusing on the short sellers in the silver market. And he's not the only one. I've got several emails that are saying, man, silver's like going crazy. So if you want in, CornerStoneAssetMetals.com, CornerStoneAssetMetals.com, mention Prophecy Club, or type it in when you go to the website. Lord, guide them in their decisions in Jesus' name. Amen. August the 8th of 2015, Saturday night. Lord, I don't have anything to say. What do you want to say for the sermon tomorrow morning? And for the first time in my life, when I was awake, I heard words which said, this is the time of miracles. Then he downloaded to my heart that said, as the judgment hits, so will my miracles. Miracles like no one has seen, going all the way back to Adam and Eve. You tell them, I will never leave them nor forsake them. As the devil shows up, I'm going to meet him inch for inch, step for step, pound for pound. Everything he does, I'm going to meet him. If you believe that America is about to be in judgment, then I strongly recommend you go to SevenfoldMiracleCrusades.com, sign up, and be a part of the Sevenfold Miracles, coming to the world to gather those last names into the book of life just before the tribulation starts. SevenfoldMiracleCrusades.com. SevenfoldMiracleCrusades.com. When a nuclear device goes off, it produces an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, and it fries every computer chip unless they're protected. The good news is EMPShield.com has devices a military testing facility says are 100% accurate to protect against EMP, solar flares, lightning, power surges, backed by a 10-year warranty and a $25,000 insurance policy. And they come with simple installation instructions for home, vehicles, RV, and electric generators. You can have electricity in a blackout. EMPShield.com. Use the promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. This helps Prophecy Club. That's EMPShield.com. Promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. EMPShield.com. EMPShield.com. Here's the best deal we've ever offered at the Prophecy Club. 5 How Pre-Trib 1, 5 Tribulation Secrets in Daniel, 5 God's Warning to America, 5 Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, and 10 Miss the Mark, 40 books, gift of $100, prophecyclub.com, prophecyclub.com.